Okay guys, I am going to finally be doing a tutorial. This is going to be just part one. I'm not sure how many parts it's going to be. I'm just going to see how long this really takes in real time to record and everything. But yeah, I'm going to be doing the quill prints, which I've done before. I'm going to be doing the same design I've done in the past too, so you can follow along if you want. But yeah, I'm just going to get right into it and just kind of talk as I go, and hopefully it makes sense. So first things first, we gotta rip the cover off. This is kind of a more delicate process than I make it look, just because I like the dramatic rip for my videos. But I usually you just have to be careful that you don't rip a whole bunch of these other pages off with it. So you just kind of go for it. A lot of times though, these first few pages do just rip out, which is fine. Okay, so that one worked pretty well. But yeah, as you can see, this one just gotta go. That one's good and connected, which is good. I think this one will probably have to go to, yeah. Honestly, I'm just gonna rip this one off because it doesn't match my vibe. Okay, I think that's pretty good. And then you just want to make sure this is like pretty nice and smooth. If there's any big chunks left of the spine like cover from before, just like rip it off. You can also sand this if you like. This one just turned out really pretty good and smooth. And I like this like torn paper texture because I feel like the glue really grips to it. So yeah, that worked out nice and easy for me. Okay, then we need to use paper for our end pages. I'm going with this nice maroon color today. And as I mentioned in my supply video, I like to use like cardstock, when most people use like scrapbook paper or other thinner paper. This is just my preference. So yeah. So you take one. I'm gonna fold it in half this way because I like this smooth texture. This paper specifically is like linen textured, so I like the smooth to be what is showing when you open the book, and the linen to be what the glue adheres to. So I'm just gonna fold it nice in half, line up the corners. And I do spend extra time doing stupid things like this, like lining up the corners and everything, just because anything being amiss drives me crazy. So I really want things to turn out perfect. And I'd rather take forever and it turn out perfect than the opposite. Let's fold it down. I'm gonna take my bone folder and just get a good crease. Good and crispy. I like to fold it this way too and do the same thing because of the cardstock, it doesn't open as freely as thinner paper will. So I just like to fold it both ways. Okay, then I'm going to do the other one. Again, good crease. Awesome. So now to cut them to size, I like to just trace the actual book itself. You can like just measure and cut, but I just find this easier and honestly a little more accurate for me. And I also like to just, so you line it up. Okay, sorry, I forget I have to really explain this. So obviously this is the folded side. This is where it opens. So you want that to line up correctly with the book. I like to line up the bottom perfectly. I like to leave a teeny bit, like a millimeter, of overhang on the spine side. And then just make sure it's good and straight on the bottom. And I need a pencil. Where are they? Yeah. Oh, geez. So I just take a pencil and I trace the outside of the book on the bottom. And the top. Okay. And then I'll go ahead and cut it out with my paper cutter. You can use scissors, but paper cutter is obviously straighter. So my blade is really dull. I need to buy a new one, but we'll see how this goes. So just line it up with the lines we made and slice. I like to just double check with my book. Line it up. And mostly just the top and bottom being perfect is what's important, because this little overhang is intentional, so you can just make it fit on the other side. Yeah, that looks good. Set it aside. And then I'm going to do the same thing, but for the other side of the book. So I'm going to just flip it, even though obviously it's like the same size, but just sometimes I just feel better to actually use the side that I'm working with. So again, line it up at the bottom as perfectly as you can. And then just a slight overhang on the side. Trace. And cut. Okay, messed that up. I was not holding it straight, so don't be like me, kids. I'll just have to hand trim that little edge, but in a second. Hold it good and straight. Okay. Now let's see how it looks. Pretty dang perfect. Okay. Just trim this little edge that I messed up. my front piece. This is my back piece. Just check again one more time, line them up good. You always see me do this in my videos. Okay, so now it's time to glue them down. So I like to use these scraps of the end pages I just cut to use as like a guide. So for the end papers, you only need to put like a few millimeters of glue. I guess I should see how much that really is, so you're not just guessing. So yeah, about 1/2 centimeter is what I do. So I kind of just guess, eyeball it. Just can't put too much or too little. You kind of just gotta practice. But yeah, 1/2 centimeter should be pretty good place to start. So then you gotta take your handy dandy PVA glue. Remember, I use this one from Amazon's on my Amazon storefront. Line up your guide, hold it good and in place, and then just put the glue on. I like to brush away from me so it doesn't get underneath the little paper. And you have to put a good amount because it does dry quite fast, and with this thicker paper I use for the end pages, it does just need a little bit extra glue. I like to especially focus on the ends because that's where it will peel up if it's not good and stuck. Okay, I think that's good. Peel this. And then you just want to line up your paper, make sure it's good and aligned before sticking it. And I like to line it up with the edges of the book, not the spine, because the spine can overhang, remember. So you want the edges and the parts that are showing to be what's accurate. Okay, so then I press it down. Ooh, my cat just got fed. Press it down, then use the bone folder and give it just nice extra love. Can open it up and give it even more love. Make sure it's good and stuck on there. Okay. Now we do the other side. Same way. I just use the other scrap paper since the other one is still wet with glue, and I really don't want to get extra glue on here because then the end paper will stick to the page instead of just the edge. So again, line it up about 1/2 centimeter. Get your glue on. this down. Bone folder. And yeah, you do want to catch any glue. If any of the glue squirts out the side from pressing it down, you just want to kind of grab it with your finger and just wipe it off because you don't want to glue your pages together. Okay, lovely. So at this point, you just want to let this dry a bit. You can just put a stack of books on top, which is honestly what I'm gonna do. So yeah, to stack it, make sure it's like on the edge where it's glued. And then just let it dry for like 10 to 15 minutes and then we can work on the spine.